Dicknanigans. Dicknanigans. Thank you. Everyone, thank you. Thank you. Scotland's majestic red deer is our largest wild land mammal and one of the most impressive wildlife spectacles. An encounter with this iconic species through your front windshield is unforgettable. Scotland supports the largest population of red deer in Europe. Red deer seem to have expanded modestly in range since the late 1980s. Roe deer have also expanded in range, in central Scotland in particular. Wild deer are a huge asset to Scotland as an important part in our rural economy and culture, an integral part of Scotland's biodiversity, a source of healthy food and recreational opportunities. Fallow and sika deer were introduced to Scotland through deliberate releases and escapes from country parks. We'll get them one day. Good evening, every human being listening to my voice at this very moment. Hello, hello. I hope. Off to work we go. Everyone, hi. It's me. It's Kenjra of the kaiju variety. I'm here tonight, freshly consumed, or freshly having consumed, baby spinach, balsamic vinaigrette, and that's it. We had a nice salad. Now I am ready and fueled and ready for battle and humor and comedy. Only trust Kimby. I don't trust this Kaiju Kenjra guy. Much like all the anti-vaxxers, I Googled something, therefore I am a trustworthy source. Okay? So when I tell you that the deer are majestic and essential to biodiversity, you have to take me at my word. I am an expert, okay? I have researched for minute on the subject. And I think you owe it to me to lend me a minute of your time for me to explain to you exactly what's going on with Scotland's deer population. Everyone, once again, my name is Kenjra. It is Thursday. I missed Tuesday on account of mowing and din-din, but that was fine because I am here now and Professor Kenjra is ready to explode your computers. We have Nave Sky in chat. We have Allie, we have Michaela, and we may have Kimby, though she may be passed out. I'm not 100% certain what her situation is, but it seemed, based on what she said, that she wasn't long for this world. Or this waking world, I should say. How's everyone doing? Nave, Michaela, Allie, sound off everyone. Tell me how you've been. Did anyone get swept away in the NATOs? The big nades? The big torns? Tornades? Twist NATOs? Jesus fatigue. Ah, yes. Praise be unto him. I did. I got swept. I drove through it. Nave, did you get any tornadoes on you? How many tornadoes did you get? Tell me about your tornadoes. I was working, and I heard this driving rain on the roof of my building. There's no windows in my office, so I was like, huh. And then all the alarms went off on the phones, like the beep, like, warning, you're about to die. And they were like, there's a tornado alarm, everyone get indoors. Everyone please run. And so I was like, ooh, Nelly. And naturally I ran outside to look. And no tornadoes, unfortunately. They murdered people up north, I think. So maybe Michaela got hit. Who knows? Nave, are you there? Nave! Nave! Nave Sky? The alert almost made me crash my car. Nice. Cool. The demon whispered in my ear, you can't handle the tornado. Oh, hi, Dan Kendra. I think this first-time viewer Dan Kendra here. Hi, Dan. What's up, dude? Dan's fully in his YouTube commenter mode. For those of you who don't know, this is Dan. This is my brother. He sends me random text images of YouTube comments he posted on like progressive house albums and stuff. Did Nave actually go? Nave's gone. We talk about Kimby being gone. Nave's gone. What's up, Dan? How are you? You just chilling? You watching me on your TV or your phone or what? What's going on? We're just warming up. The Audacity. No, that's a different program. We're on OBS right now. I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? What was I going to do? I know what we're going to do, but I don't know what's going to go on. They both bailed. Cool, just chilling. Cool. Well, you're just in time, Dan, because the theme of the night or the activity of the night will be actually we have to wait. I told Will, I don't know if Will's available tonight, but he might be. And then Nave, I want Nave to be here because I was going to give them an actual important tip about overclocking. I've been dealing with my system a lot recently. I should say systems, both of them. And I have some fun facts. Allie and Dan, you're the only two who this wouldn't apply to. Michaela, this could actually apply to you as well. But I'll just wait. If they come back or if they don't show up, then I'll just be like, you lost your chance. You had the important info. You had the opportunity and you lost it. So, yeah, you asked, are we doing Apex tonight? What's going on here? The reason I'm in my Halo shirt is because yesterday, midday, I think? Yeah, midday, like 5 o'clock our time, Eastern. Yesterday, there was a Halo Infinite live stream. And what happened is this weekend, they're allowing in a bunch of people into it's a technical preview, which is basically a weekend-long little test showcase. I didn't apply to get in, therefore, naturally I didn't get in. But they showed off what they're gonna have in there, and kind of just some tidbits of the user interface, some of the random stuff in that regard too. So it looks good. It looks really good. I'm actually incredibly impressed with what they're showing so far. Every time I see more stuff about the next Halo and like how they're dealing with the battle pass and the multiplayer and the live service aspect of things and the PC port, I'm really, really impressed. I'm genuinely excited. Like, they're doing all the right things. The crossplay, all of the configurability on PC and Xbox, honestly. It's really good. It's really good. Like, all of the sort of like fingers crossed settings made it in by the look of it. Oh, the armor customization looks so freaking cool too. Maybe you'll get in anyway, like the Virgin Mary of Halo. I kind of don't want to. For some reason, unless there's like an open beta right before the game launches, I kind of just want to wait. I want to wait for the finished product. You know, I'll watch video and stuff. And they showed off full matches of the multiplayer, and it looks tight. Like, you can tell that Halo feel, having put in so many hours of Halo 5 and all the other Halos and stuff like that. And it looks good. It looks good. The new weapon balance, the abilities, just the general movement and clambering. Oh, there's some good stuff, people. There's some good stuff. So, that's also what Mary said? Sure. Were you there? Do you know? Allie and Michaela, are you two together? You talked about driving and stuff as the storm was happening. Like, are you linked up, or are you just in your respective homes just hanging out? What's your situation over there? We are not. So, Michaela, you're just chilling in your bedroom with the dual monitors, or do you have me on the TV? Ah. See, now this is misinformation right now from Allie. She doesn't know what's going on. There is no genuine nature to this. You two or something. Guys, it is Thursday. It is Thursday, which means first the camera has to focus. And second, there's new games. There are new games. Everyone turn your pages to page 4. Go to your Epic Games installs. And let's see what we got. I can't actually remember what the free ones for this week. It is. Holy shit. You two are going to be in love with that request last week. We have Mother Gunship. But more importantly, we have Train Sim World 2. Holy shit. Train Sim World 2. Your trains. This is Ticket to Ride, right? Digital Ticket to Ride. You love this, right? I love it so much I'm getting it right now. It's free. It's completely free. You yelled Lewis, and I thought he was here. And you fooled me. Rude. What's the most exciting thing that happened to both of you today? Tell me about your day. And it better not be drive home in the rain. We already know that part. It's not exciting. It could be exciting, but it's not new info. It's not worthy. We're training next week? Why not tomorrow? Oh, you mean training as in like training. Yo, Plague Tale. Rats in chat next week. Got an oil change and made pot stickers. So pretty bland day. Just normal knocking out errands sort of thing. I gardened. Michaela knows, but Dan and Allie don't know. I weeded outside my house. Perfect, might I say, because of the storms that came through. Now everything's clean and nice. Well, still selling out to Tim Sweeney, I see. That's true. That's true. Hello, Vermentis. Welcome. The Sween machine. Right here in the flesh. Will, what's up? How you doing, man? Tell me about your day. Kimby's here. Kimby's here, and there are deer. Michaela's butt itches. Yeah, on account of all the sunscreen, or the sunblock, or the lack of sunblock. The deer are cute, and then, like I say, they either fly through the front windshield of your vehicle at 11 p.m., or you get too close to one and it rears up and it goes... It starts like to pummel you with its hooves. I'm tired. Your toe pops. Pops off? Well, welcome to a permanently sore toe. Life must go on, Will. Life must go on. Or maybe he means like pimple pop. Maybe he gets all pussy and he has to release the juices. Ugh. Ugh. Hold on 1 second here. We don't have a lot of deer car here. Deer car hitting here. They live up in the mountains. Well, maybe you should start, all right? Maybe you should start having more deer car hitting. All right? Bring nature to your doorstep. Ugh. If Dan's still in chat, he I think he totaled his Volkswagen Beetle by hitting a deer, if I remember correctly. He hit a deer. I can't remember if that was the totaling event, but a deer was hit, and the car was damaged. I don't know if he can speak to that. I don't know if he wants to speak to that. Maybe it's just bad memories. Okay, well, this is good. This is actually good. Nave's back because I summoned him. Vermentis is here, and yeah, this is gonna be. We're going to start a little bit because I need to give everyone some important info about their GPUs. The Beetle, because they're talking about deer in Scotland. And if I remember correctly, didn't you total your Beetle because you hit a deer? That's what finally did in the bug? Or am I mistaken? Am I misremembering? How did the beetle explode? It's also illegal to hunt them or kill them, so I think they might be nice like little puppies. I hit a deer at 6:30 a.m. in Pottsville. Vermenta says, oh shit, it's college ball legend Dan Kendra. The rise and fall, or whatever the hell that article was. Thank you, Kimby. We needed to know. I provided that info years before Kimby did. Kimby was napping gracefully, and I was Googling feverishly. It smashed the front of the car, rolled up, smashed the window, and then rolled over the top. That's how I greet Michaela typically. Up in Seamsville, there's like very little accountability, so sometimes I just gun it when I see her like taking the dogs out. That's why she's a little bit black and blue. There's at least 4 different kinds over here. I think, according to the Google search, there are only 4 kinds. Okay. Everyone. This is mostly... Kimby, I forget if you have a gaming PC. I forgot if you have a gaming... Iron Curtain's here too, perfect. So this should be good. This is going to be directly applicable for Vermentis and Knave, because as far as I'm aware, they have the same GPU. They both have 3070s. Did you check out Overwatch Gundam? Iron, I saw that before you sent it. I caught wind of that. I don't know what's going on with that or when it's coming out, but it looks pretty sick. I always temper my expectations with Gundam games that aren't the full boost or the verses, because most of them are kind of shit. But that one has potential. It looks like it could be fun. But once again, I never fully get my hopes up. Because, yeah. But guys, as I was saying, 30 series GPU owners, Michaela, Iron, do you have a desktop, a gaming GPU? What are you rocking? Michaela's rocking a 10 series. What are we going on here? No big Zam, no thank you, ma'am. That's a fine point to hold. I'm not going to contest you on that one. A 1070. Okay, this is actually technically applicable for you too, so this is good. So, everyone, background on why Professor Kenjra is going to destroy your PC. So, for the past couple of years, I have been using the MSI Afterburner OC scanner to do just basically an automatic overclock of my system, which for the most part has been good. Like, you know, it would just do its thing. It'd find a more optimized overclock compared to stock. I've always known that, you know, you can really do stress testing and walk in your clocks of your GPU, you know, better than it could. It just would take more time, and I was always okay with just, you know, getting that little boost and leaving a tiny bit of extra headroom because, you know, so be it. A lot of stuff is, you know, the clocks will automatically boost up and down based on performance and, you know, thermal and all that stuff. So so I love my GPU. Michaela, just listen up. You're going to follow these steps too. You better. Anyway, as we were saying, so I've been using OC Scanner, and as a result, I typically guide my peers, my friends, people who ask me about random PC stuff. I'm just like, yeah, just use OC Scanner. Everything will be well. It'll give your system an overclock, and you are pretty much set. So, what I've recently in the past kind of year heard about, do a little bit to crypto stuff and do a little bit to just some people I really trust as authorities on, you know, PC hardware, kind of bringing it to my attention, especially with the 3000 series now out, is the concept of undervolting. So, undervolting your GPU, for those of you who may not be aware, is basically the process of just lowering, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just lower the voltage of your GPU, and as you can probably assume, less voltage running through your graphics card, it's going to draw less power, produce less heat, and run a little bit more efficiently. And I've always been under the impression that that would, say, hurt performance at the cost of, you know, hurt performance and be a little bit more energy efficient, that sort of thing. What I recently found out is with our graphics cards, that is not the case. By reducing the performance, you basically just provide the GPU with more thermal headroom and the ability to boost higher. So, over the past 48 hours, I tested it on both my graphics cards and was able to get a higher GPU clock with a dramatically lower voltage, dramatically better thermals, and dramatically better fan noise because the fans don't have to ramp up to compensate as much. So I would like to show you all how that's done because it is incredibly easy. And thanks to the 3000 series of GPUs from NVIDIA being so similar, I can just tell you what to use. So you guys have to do pretty much nothing, and I will show you a pretty much foolproof way to dial in a clock that will beat the OC scanner overclock dramatically. So let me show you how. The first major tidbit of this is going to be grabbing a few pieces of hardware that the vast majority of you already have. The first one is going to be this one right here. It's going to be MSI Afterburner. Apologies, I have a 4K monitor, so this thing is small as all hell. But grab, if you can, or if you don't already have it, MSI Afterburner, and get the beta. Get the beta, even if you're on an older series of GPU. The latest version of the beta is beta 3, I think. Let's see. Where's the yeah, it's 4.6.4 beta 3. So I actually would like, if you guys are willing, to just do this live. Nave, especially you, because I know you and I worked the OC scanner together. Vermentis, I'd highly recommend you doing this to you as well. So just grab Afterburner. I know some of you have it already. And let me know when you have it all set. Oh, Lewis is here too. Hi, Lewis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ali, you are just in time for the GPU overclocking tutorial. I know you're excited. I know you're very excited. Okay, Vermentis has that version. Nave, are you rocking that version as well? Are you on beta 3? Michaela, will you be following along? This actually applies to you too, or are you busy with actual tasks? Or are you busy with like sending racist tweets or something? Is that probably the version I already have? All you have to just hover over it, Nave. Just go down into your running programs and hover over it and see if it says beta 3. Iron, are you going to be following this tutorial? Because this could apply to you too. Your voltages are going to be different than what I provide for the two 3000 series guys, but the only difference is that we just have to find out some basic clocks for that. Lurking driving mode. Okay, be safe. Slick roads. Okay, let me know when you have the, like I said, it's Afterburner 4.6.4 beta 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, Nave's on an outdated version. Nave, when you're upgrading, don't sweat saving all those settings because we are going to reset to stock regardless. So when you do the upgrade and it's like, do you want to save everything? Save the profile. Don't just do whatever you, just as long as you get the program on your system, you're good. While those two are getting Afterburner, Vermentis, just so we're in parity, grab this too. We're going to get, it's called HW Info 64. It's basically the monitoring app that I've been recommended so many times that it's sort of become my go-to. This one. Just Google HW Info 64. I have the portable version right here. I didn't actually install that. So as long as this is present too, we'll use this to monitor clocks. Or not even monitor it, because I'm not gonna... You guys are responsible for stress testing, okay? I'll tell you what I did, but I'm gonna tell you a clock that I know almost certainly will work and be safe for you, and then it's up to you just to tinker for your own particular chip. I've been using that for years, my dude. Okay, cool. Good. Anyway, so Nave and Iron, if you can hear me as you're afterburnering, grab HW Info 64 after that. You can grab the portable version, you can grab the installer, just make sure that's on there too. A clock that works Big Ben. Nah, Big Ben sucks. It's too big. His hands require too much energy to turn. Why would they make it that big? Just make Ben. Ben, the tourist attraction. Give me the all clear when you guys have the have that set up. Yeah, the latest beta should be beta 3 Iron. 4.6.4 beta 3. Now make sure, of course, I know these two guys, but I don't know you, Iron Curtain, if you're running any different overclocking utility, if you have EVGA Precision or some sort of Asus version or whatever the hell going in, then make sure that's out of there. You know, we don't want competing GPU overclocking stuff. I'm going to be farming, but keep going. I'll follow along the VOD later. Okay, gotcha. I'm planning on turning in very early tonight. This won't be a long stream either. I'm a little bit fatigued and want to do the tutorial, kind of chill for a bit longer, and then continue with my evening. So don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Oh, by the way, if you want to utilize a... Okay, I have both, and it didn't ask for anything about saving settings. Okay, so you can confirm 100% right now you're running the beta 3. That's active on your system right now. Looks just like mine. Hey, also, I have been using, in terms of the actual tool to stress test, you have a multitude of options, honestly. I just remembered that I hadn't bought 3D Mark years ago. Many years ago, I bought 3D Mark. And so what I just did is I bought their like really couple buck upgrades to like the newest editions of each of their benchmarks. So I was using Time Spy to be my stress testing software. I can't literally show you guys the actual test running here because it'll max my system specs and then bring this stream to a screeching halt. But I can at least show you what I did, and I'll show you the free alternatives that are highly recommended as well. Okay, so for those who are following along, you have the newest edition of Afterburner. You have Hardware Info 64 or HW Info 64. It's going to look like this when you have it running. I do sensors only. We don't need like a bunch of random info about the PC right now. All we need is the sensors. And that's just going to be a bunch of random stuff. I've minimized this because I was doing just the GPU. But it's going to look like this. You can close out of this little like, there's a beta version. And this is the sort of stuff you want to look for. So I, on my secondary monitor, have this up. I have all of the performance metrics for the actual MSI Afterburner itself. And you can see mine, as opposed to what comes by default, I have a much cut down version. This is, once again, there's only a small subset that I need to look at, or that quote unquote you need to look at. If you want to see what I use, I have GPU temperature, GPU usage, memory usage, core clock, memory clock, power, fan speed, and then I have the various limits to see if the GPU is actually temperature limited, power limited, or voltage limited. And then all this CPU crap, everything below that I have turned off. So you can just check or uncheck that if you want. Once again, technically you can just get away with everything. It's just that this becomes dramatically more busy then, and you have to scroll all the way up and down if you want to, find certain things. So I cut mine down just for simplicity's sake. So I have that open, on my other one, and typically that's all I use to look. So just to give you guys a sense of what's actually important here. I wish I could make this a little bigger. I apologize, but I don't think I can. Nope, that's not it, despite being a magnifying glass. So obviously, you have a bunch of GPU things. I have everything here shut out. This is a very useful piece of hardware just for checking system settings and stuff, but we're focused on GPU. So of course you got your temperatures. The importance for the undervolting tutorial will be this, will be the core voltage. It will be the power, the GPU power, because I'm just curious in seeing the wattage that the GPU actually pulls. And then, of course, the clocks. For a lot of it, I actually look here. But for voltage is the one that I look for on Hardware Info 64. So, back to the benchmarks I actually use. So, of course, actually to test stability on your system, once you dial in some settings in Afterburner, you are going to have to stress test your rig. Now, the best way to do it is actually playing games, that you play. Everything's different. Everything's going to hit it differently. A lot of the newer titles, especially ray trace titles, for those of you on the 3000 series GPUs, will probably stress your system the most realistically. But because we want to actually just do a stability test ahead of time, I do Iron. I do sensors only. Typically, you can do whatever, but I do sensors only, and that's going to bring up this this cut down version that you see right here. So, as I was saying, I use this one. I use 3D Mark. You don't have to buy it. I bought it because I was curious in benchmarking and testing a bunch of systems that I owned in years past, and I still utilize it. Let me show you guys really quick, just so you know. I use this guy. It's 3D Mark right here. So I bought the upgrades right here. Time Spy is the one I've been using for my systems. And I have Port Royale, which is actually a ray tracing benchmark. What's Fermenta saying? You can always stress test using Final Fantasy and system benchmarking character. Oh, it almost sounded like you were doing the free up to thing, but that sounds also partially legit. That being said, I never got the sense that Final Fantasy XIV was a massive system destroying thing on account of it being an MMO. So everyone, your mileage may vary. I recommend, of course, 3D Mark. The one that a ton of people still recommend, I'll show you, is this one you probably have heard of, the Heaven benchmark by Unigen. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, but this one is completely free and is incredibly popular in terms of stress testing systems. It's kind of ancient at this point, but it is still utilized here and there. Alternatively, if you want to stay in 3D Mark and kind of go more towards what I was doing, 3D Mark, they make their legacy versions of their software free. So if I do, let's see, 3D Mark, what was it called? 11? Yeah. So this right here, if you check it out, if you just do 3D Mark 11, this is their older stress test. That's still technically a good stress test. Fermenta says Furmark in all caps. Furmark can eat my ass. All right. Technically, Furmark is okay, but I think there are better options. Unless you want a PC destroying fuzzy donut annihilating everything. So this is an option. Heaven is an option, but both of them are legit. Each of them will hit your system slightly differently. There's no one accepted best one, and gaming, of course, could provide an alternative option. So back to what I was saying. So once you have your benchmark of choice or multiple set, once you have all of the software, let me bring Afterburner back up. Where are we at? I'm looking right at it. Here we go. So once we have these guys back up, then pretty much it's honestly remarkably easy. Iron Curtain, you're gonna have to do a bit of Googling simply because I don't know what your series of GPU has accepted in terms of the people who've undervolted and tested already. And you'll just have to find the megahertz and or millihertz. MHZ, what is that one? Megahertz? Millihertz? Millivolts. My brain is breaking. I apologize. Let me show you. So you'll just have to find exactly kind of a balanced and accepted general value, unless you want to go all out and tweak yourself. But I usually just defer to the people who, spent the hours, because even though there is variation with everyone's particular GPU, there shouldn't be extreme variation. There should always be like an accepted range. And if you can dial it into there, you're still going to be dramatically better than stock clocks. So, everyone, I would say if you have this open and you previously did the OC scanner or whatever, just click this little reset button here, reset to stock clocks. Take everything back down to 0. I'm not going to right now because I already have mine overclocked with the undervolt profile, but you just click this little like swirly arrow right there, boom, and then you're good. Also, make sure you don't forget this up in the top, this little Windows icon. You can have that start at startup. I'd say also you can do general properties here. Make sure you have this clicked. Start with Windows, start minimized. I like those. If I'm not mistaken, this one is, what is this? Apply. Okay, so yeah, look, this is the apply your overclocked system startup. So you want boom, and then you also want boom, boom. You want those checked. Get both those going too. Does MSI give me the millihertz right now? Yeah, MSI this afterburner should be all you need in terms of actually adjusting and modifying settings. It's actually megahertz. It's a capital megahertz, because then it would be gigahertz would be next, so it's megahertz, like megabytes, gigabytes. So, and then millivolts. Yeah, lowercase m, uppercase v, uppercase m, hertz. All right, so once you are back to stock on MSI Afterburner, it couldn't be more simple. And this is where Nave and Vermentis, this is where you guys can pretty much follow my clocks, because I have a, what's it called? I have a 3080, and unless yours is significantly factory overclocked by whichever company made your system, you're going to be able to use pretty much my my exact settings as a baseline for a good undervolt profile. So let me show you right here, guys. If you open the curve editor, you're going to get something that looks kind of like this, but not quite. It's going to be much more of a gradual, just like just sort of a curvature upward that kind of caps at a value. So for Nave and for Vermentis, I apologize this is so small. I wish it... Oh, there we go. Sweet. It scales properly, or kind of properly. So what you want to do right here is you want to find the stock curve and go over to the right-hand side of the graph where you have the highest frequencies at the highest voltages, and just where it's horizontal, where it's sort of leveled out. Grab any of the dots right there, hold the Alt on your keyboard and drag it down. So you can just drag it all the way down. I'll just show you actually here. Let me show you. Because I can just reset back to my own value. So I'm gonna go, boom. I'm back in full stock. Now if we go to my curve, this is what my curve looks like. I'm gonna be over here at these horizontal values. You can see it's gonna be 1.125 gigahertz or gigavolts at just under 2000 megahertz, whatever that is. Hold Alt and drag the entire curve down. I'm going to drag it on the y-axis to about 850, or excuse me, 1850. Okay, so once you have it at 1850, just go ahead, release right there. Now, the only other aspect you have to do for this is you're going to find the X value of the voltage at 850 millivolts, trace it up to here, and we're going to drag just this value, the 850 millivolts, up to that 1850 in terms of the megahertz. And watch this. Now you can release it. It should stay in this little kind of like little spike, evil spike. Go back to your afterburner. By the way, Iron, don't be doing this. This is not an appropriate voltage. I have no knowledge of what your 1070 should be doing. This is just how to dial in an undervolt. This is for specifically Vermentis, Nave, and anyone else rocking a 3080 or a 3070, which I think is just you two. And then go here. It's kind of hidden, but go to MSI Afterburner and just click apply and watch what will happen to the curve. Boom. So now the curve has shifted and you can see the voltage will increase, and now it caps the system right here at the frequency of about 1850 and the voltage of 850 millivolts. So that's kind of that's what's going on there. Iron, I would say for you, we have to do a little bit more research. So don't apply the overclock yet. Don't actually try to apply a clock. For you, you can either just listen to me and just watch and see what it does, or you can Google if you want to kind of try to set a clock immediately. You can Google and figure out what other overclockers have undervolted a 1070 to. What is an appropriate value for your GPU? I'm speaking directly to Vermentis and to Nave because I know what theirs are because I have a very similar one. So for yours, you're going to have to find a different XY value that is an appropriate undervolt. So for Nave and for Vermentis, this is one that I've been recommended by multiple people. I saw it from Optimum Tech, which is where I originally saw this concept. And then other people have corroborated, like, yeah, I have a good stability around here. So the 850 millivolts, the 1850 megahertz is a fantastic accepted zone of like, hey, your card should be able to hit this. It should be stable here, and it will draw dramatically less wattage and dramatically less voltage than your stock values. So with that change made, what you're going to see here is you're going to see this GPU core voltage when you start stress testing. This is going to cap at almost exactly 0.850. So the voltage right there, the millivolts, 0.850, because that's what you capped it at. You can't go higher. By default, feel free to set everything back to stock and then run a stress test whenever you have time if you just want to see what your system will do naturally. But by default, I saw both my 3080s in the mid 900s. It even occasionally would peak right about 1. So it would most of the time be in the 900s. Occasionally it would go down into the high 8s, but it was dramatically higher. And right now you can actually see, boom, like before I apply, it just momentarily went up there. Also, what you'll find right here is GPU power. You can see the wattage. I'm just idling, so it's around 100 watts currently. But what you'll find is that at full stock, you're going to see if you run a stress test, your system should be power limited. It'll draw somewhere around 330 watts, but that is enough to power limit your GPU. Actually, technically, it's enough to power limit my GPU. I don't know what the 3070s draw in comparison. They're probably very similar, but mine were both power limited before I undervolted. So with the undervolt set, you should see a drop in wattage. Mine was significant, and in combination with the lower voltage, it's just going to be exactly what I said. It's going to be a dialed in clock that is going to be more thermally efficient. It should boost right around to 1850, but I found that for both my GPUs, it was actually settling at stock value in the 1700s or very low 1800s. So my undervolt actually increased my clock and should give me, like an extra couple frames at most. But that is pretty much all you have to do. Now, of course, your mileage is going to vary. You don't have my graphics cards. The next step for you guys, once you dial in this undervolt, would be testing it, would actually be running that stress test, seeing what you get. I ran 2. I ran one at full stock, one at the undervolt, and compared, and both my GPUs were dramatically improved by the undervolt. Also, fun side fact, I am amazed the difference in thermal performance between my two 3080s, considering they're the same card. Or not the same card, the same, GPU. My one upstairs in the VR rig is an EVGA 3080 XT, and the one down here is an Asus 3080 TUF, TUF, and this one is so much bigger. It has so much more surface area for its heatsink compared to the one upstairs. This one capped during my stress tests at about 60 or so degrees Celsius, and the one upstairs, the EVGA one, capped in the low 80s. A over 20-degree difference on the exact same graphics card due exclusively to the cooling solution. Because I walked in the, I walked in the overclock to be identical, or the undervolt to be identical. So it's the exact same clock, exact same voltage. Only thing difference is the actual GPU. 20 some degree difference. Holy shit. Nave asks, so I need to run the automatic overclock thing again with the voltage set? No. Just sliding that slider, that you are overclocked. Your system is at the appropriate clock. The entirety of the overclock process on the core is sliding that down all the way and then bringing your guy up right here. So now you are undervolted. Your performance should be roughly identical, if not a bit better, and you should be massively more thermally efficient. So, just want to give you a heads up because you asked right here. The only thing that you would want to do in addition to this is set your memory clock. So by default, memory clock doesn't get changed by that curve we just modified. I know for a fact that pretty much all 3080s can hit like plus 500, plus 600. I heard plus 750 is another value that a lot of overclockers could get. I would say expect similar values on your 3070s, where you can probably get a couple hundred extra out of the memory clock. Excuse me. Once again, don't expect that this is all gonna get a couple percentage points out of there, but the whole point is for thermal efficiency. So I would say do a little bit of Googling on 3070s. At most, within like a search or two, you're gonna find a pretty consistent, like, hey, I was able to get plus 600. I was able to get plus 700. I was able to get plus 1,000. Like, once you get up towards 1,000, I've heard that there's actually diminishing return and like can actually hurt. The way these GPUs are designed is you could throw that slider all the way up and it very well might run, but it might do so much error correcting that it might under the table be actually inhibiting it. You can run a system at like plus 1250, but it's going to be shittier than if you ran it at plus 700, for example. So just, I'd say, find what people are getting as their max safe values and then put it like, 100 below that. And that is fine. That 100 is going to make no difference whatsoever, I'd say, except for just stability. So just do a Google search and find there. So the entirety of overclocking with this new method is going to be this right here. That. Now, one thing I want to say too, the 1850 and the 850, the frequency and the voltage value that I'm giving you is a pretty safe estimate of what most cards can accomplish. I am going to test with this one and probably bring the voltage up, or not the voltage, excuse me, the frequency up higher and see where I get instability at 850 millivolts. I really like the idea of keeping it around there because pushing up into the 900s is pretty much just the stock behavior at that point. So I want to actually be undervolting, and that's where I'll kind of, spend some extra more time, run a few more clocks. But this is a very I use safe, almost sound like it's conservative. That's not quite the case. Safe isn't like it shouldn't lead to instability unless you have a, significantly different card or a significantly dud of a card. Kimby and Allie, I want to know what the next game is and when you'll be playing. See, I was going to play this week and then Tuesday got jacked up with just some random errands and stuff. So I held off. Almost certainly next week. I I almost certainly want to play Paradise Killer unless something crazy pops off. I want to start it probably Tuesday, and that's the goal. That's the plan. You were the dinner. You were the I'm so starving, I need some food. But yeah. What's it called? This right here is the new overclocking for me, pretty much permanently moving forward after the results I've seen. OC scanner is cool, but that is the old Jesse. The new Jesse is is the undervolt for efficiency. And if you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask me. So that's pretty much it. Oh, other random facts. Make sure resizable bar is enabled. Nave, I want to talk to you about updating the BIOS on your X570 Tomahawk, because some updates have come out recently that improve stability with the AMD Agisa updates. Will, yours is a bit more of a mature board, so I don't know if you'll need it, but I don't remember if your system is PCI 4.0 capable. But yeah. Iron, don't sweat it, dude. Don't the tutorial I just gave is across the board relevant to you when it comes time to actually dialing in a clock. With the only info we don't yet know is what's appropriate for your card. So, yours is 3.0. Okay, well then resizable bar is irrelevant for you. But yeah, Nave, resizable bar I know can be enabled because I just did it on the same board upstairs that you have. Exactly, it did. They are now once again stable with all the PCI 4.0 peripherals and USB and all that stuff. So I'd say when you update the BIOS, it will reset your settings to stock in the BIOS. So don't worry about having to dig in and be like, undo what I did, because by merely updating it, you'll reset everything. And then we'll set your XMP profile again. We shall enable resizable bar and just be good there. We'll just be good there. What brand of 3070s do you guys have again? I can't quite remember. Which ones did you get? I say this because I know if you have an EVGA 3000 series, it forces you to use its overclocking utility, Precision X1, to enable resizable bar. And it's annoying. You can just install it and then uninstall it, but just a heads up there. Oh, Will's does have the EVGA. Okay, so for resizable bar, shit, I can't remember. If yours is PCI 3.0, then it's probably irrelevant to you, because I think that's built into the 4.0 spec. Nave, what do you have? Yeah, let me Google it really quick. Let's see. Huh. Oh, it seems like it is available with 3.0? Okay, so it might be, okay. Huh. Vermentis, you might have to do a little bit of Googling on your own, but based on just that really preliminary search there, you might be able to still do it. I don't know if your BIOS in your motherboard will have the settings necessary, but it doesn't seem like the 4.0, 3.0 is a limiting factor. So investigate. And Nave has the Gigabyte one. Okay, I haven't heard of a Gigabyte update yet, so it might just be through the motherboard, but we'll test. So yeah, if we're going back here, Iron, let me do a quick Google search on your behalf here. Let's see what we're getting with what people are getting with a GTX 1070 undervolt. You have EVGA as well. Okay. There's a TI. I just want to see what what's it called? Exact. It doesn't so much matter the manufacturer as it does just the actual SKU. The mine isn't bar compatible since it requires 10 cent or 10 gen or higher. Ooh, okay, unfortunate. No worries though. That's not gonna matter all that much. But where we at? Let's see what this overclocker did. Here's these boosting. Target frequency. Okay, looks like he or she, they used a voltage value of 950 millivolts on this. Okay, so no guarantee. Iron, don't set just yet, but this first one's attempted to do a 800 mid 800s value or mid 1800s value at 950 millivolts. Let's see what other people are getting. Linus Tech Tips. Stock volt. All right, so it looks like, once again, stock voltage, they're getting just under 2000 megahertz at just over a volt. And custom voltage, they're doing about the same. And once again, this one's at the exact same 0.950 volts. Let's see. How's that person? Lucky new owner. Undervolt Asus 1070. These are all for, I don't want to look for like mining cards. This one is just under a volt. I posted a link to undervolt thing. That was a Google Doc. Let's see. Stock 2000 megahertz at 197, 17 at 825. I didn't go beyond 0.975 because it just cost a card to hit the power limit too often. Okay, so Iron. It looks like for your card or for 1070s in general, the accepted undervolt value is just under 1 volt. So we saw multiple people say 950. This guy has his set to 975 millivolts, and anything beyond that, he says, is hitting the power limit, which is what I experienced with my stock clocks too. So I would say for you, of course, you're going to have to test. I can't provide as accurate info to you as I could to Vermentis and Knave, because I don't have a card like yours to test. But what I'd probably end up doing with yours... Here's another one. Look, the sweet spot for 1070s is just above 1900 megahertz at 9.25 volts. Your card may do better, like mid 19 or 1925. Okay, so it looks like the curve for yours would be somewhere in this range. Like it says the 0.925 to 0.975 volts right here. So people are doing 950. That guy was doing 0.925. So understand that the higher you go, the more stable your card should be, but the hotter it'll run. Typically, you pump voltage into a card to make it run more stable at the cost of thermals. And that's why you get like an aftermarket heatsink for a CPU or whatever. So for you, I might dial it in at like a 950. So I would go way back, in the VOD or just kind of follow my words here. You would hold the Alt on your keyboard and go all the way off to like one of the right values here. And if you're still on the stock curve, you would drag it all the way down to, I'd say, once again, they're getting just underneath a 2000 megahertz. So I'd say, let's just do this guy right here. Like, let's do like a 1925, 1950, something in that range. This is where there seem to be an agreement that is that. So you'd hold Alt, grab one of the values on the right-hand side, and drag it down until its X value is, say, like 1930, 1925. And then, when you're good there, you can take the singular value at 0.925 volts or, somewhere in this range, 0.950, somewhere right around there, and drag it up to that same value, and then hit apply on MSI Afterburner, that little check mark right there. You can see it tucked away. And then it's going to adjust the entire curve to be the actual undervolt. It's going to be the actual undervolt right there. So that's pretty much it. Drag the curve down, find the XY value that you kind of want to dial in, click apply, entire curve shifts, you have an undervolt. And that's pretty much it. And then, of course, the memory clock can be done later. So that's how you would seemingly do a 1070. And once again, to reiterate for the seemingly 100th time for the 3000 series cards, I'm using a value of 1850 at 0.85 volts. Drag everything down to the 1850. Get that single point that is on the 0.85 volts and the 1850. Drag it up. Click apply in MSI Afterburner. Boom, curve becomes this right here. You have an undervolt. Okay, so that's it. That's how you undervolt a card. As someone who has a lot of fun and has been using OC Scanner for a while, undervolting's the new hotness, or lack of hotness. Undervolting is the new coldness. Your voltage curve is on 1300 by default. Do you mean, well, the voltage curve is the X value. Are you seeing it like, curve upward as you raise in voltage and frequency? Is it becoming like a whoop, like that sort of thing? If that's the case, then just grab one of the highest values where it sort of flattens out on the right-hand side of the curve, and that's the first step. You drag that down to your frequency of choice, which seems to be in the neighborhood of just over 1900 megahertz for you. Be sure to hold Alt and drag it down. The entire curve shouldn't adjust in terms of like the way it's curved. It should just bring the entire curve all the way down. Let me know if it's behaving as it was behaving for us. Like I said, you should see the entire curve move, and then step 2 is to grab the single point. Once again, to reiterate, I highly, highly recommend setting your GPU back to stock voltage and everything. Just going to MSI Afterburner, hitting this little undo button, having everything stock, run a stress test. Stress test it for half an hour, however long. See where it settles out when you're monitoring. Look at the voltage it's hitting in hardware monitor. Look at the wattage it's pulling. Look at the core clock. Look at the memory clock. Look at everything. And then you are going to compare that to the undervolt. And you should see less thermals coming through, less wattage, around the same core clock, or basically whatever you manually set, and be good there. how far on the y-axis. So, like I said, 1070, we saw just above 1900 to be roughly an accepted value for what people are dialing in. So I would say this is on you. This is on you to test, stress test to see if you have any instability there. But you can do a very conservative value of 1900. You can go a little bit higher, 1925. You could go, I wouldn't go beyond 1950 because it seems like people really have to start dialing in their chips to get over that. So, yeah, just do something in that range, the 1900 to 1950 range. Depends on how bold you want to get. Professor Kenjra destroys your PC. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Your PC will light on fire. I will void your warranty, guaranteed, or your money lost. So yeah, my EVGA 3080, on account of being tiny, is pretty much set. There's more headroom in this Asus. I'm going to sleep. Ooh, early bedtime, 8:45. We're almost done here, Michaela, so you're not going to really miss much more random teching. So, have a good night. We will see you very soon. Talk to you tomorrow. Sweet dreams. Sleep well. You still with me, Iron? You still good, dude? Give me a sit rep. Knave, you have any questions to this kind of the general concept? I know you are capable in the tech world. You kind of understand where we're going there. Let's look at what the 3070s. Small Beginner's Guide to Undervolting RTX 3070 Founders Editions. Let's see. All right. Oh, I remember seeing this because I tested. Okay, so 3070 owners. Here's what the value is of apparently a lot of people in this thread. At least 1800 is the sweet spot on my card. Now, after looking at more people's results, I would say a better way to go is by voltage. We already did that. Try to squeeze as much as possible from 850 millivolts. Most people seem to get between 1800 and 1900 megahertz at that value. I don't know how much I'll mess up with it, but I'll look into the BIOS update. You're not gonna, as long as that BIOS update takes, as long as the you don't F up the actual update, you should be fine. If you need any help with that, let me know. I had to tinker with mine. It was a little bit stubborn. I had to use a particular flash drive. I think I found like a 16 gigabyte one. My 32s weren't working for some reason. Heads up, it says you may have to rename the BIOS. That's only if you're doing BIOS flashback. So, Knave, you can just pull the BIOS, put it in the root directory of a FAT32 formatted flash drive, and you don't need to rename it. Mine took properly without a renaming. Scale, you fools. Scale, yes. Iron says, I'm trying my very best with this. Okay. Well, I'm going to be wrapping up very shortly. So if you have more questions, of course, I'll be available to provide more insight on it. I learned pretty much this exact technique from, besides just Googling, I watched this guy. So Optimum Tech. This is the one for the 3000 series. Here's a slightly older one. This one I didn't use, but it's the same general concept, just larger. This is the one I used right here. So this guy, he's an awesome YouTuber. Love him. Loves Apex. He's a cool dude. This one right here, published in October of last year. 3080, 3090 undervolting. He just runs you through the exact process I did in a couple minutes. He shows kind of dragging the curve down. He shows getting that exact undervolt dialed in. And then, of course, he plots and showcases exactly, what people were getting there. So you can see, like, check this out. Check this thing out. Here's just a random one on the Heaven Loop. So stock, it was running over a volt, 1.026 volts, 1920 megahertz, and the fastest or the highest RPM and fan speed. Ali says, Knight gonna go Apex. Good luck. I better be hearing some good seer feedback from you next week, okay? I know you may not be able to have enough whatever, like Apex coins to unlock them yet, but as long as he's on your team, we're gonna do some comparison, like, oh, what do you think of him? What do you think of his voice lines? What do you think of his weird hat? Shit like that. And then compared, here's the value I did, the 1850 at 850. So we got 5 degrees cooler, dramatically less fan noise, and performance that is pretty much neck and neck. Neck and neck. What's there not to love? Especially for people living in the summer months where everything gets sweltering. The less heat, the better. So there we have it. That was a long-winded but thorough undervolting guide, mostly for the 3000 series, and to a lesser extent, specifically Iron's 1070 or the 10 series. I'm going to probably help Michaela in the near future with her 1080 Ti, so that one will be fun. And I let the other people, I let other people do the work, the hard work of dialing in exact voltages and clocks for the series of cards. So you kind of see what other people get, you find the range that people are getting, and you use that as a starting point. And then you can tinker if you want, or you can just set it and forget it. Really straightforward. If there are no final questions, then I'm actually gonna wrap up right here. I am going to head back upstairs, kind of wind down a little bit, get a full night's sleep. Michaela has the right idea. She's going to bed really early, but she also has to wake up way earlier. So I'll kind of shift back a little bit and do the same technique, and prep for a really fun weekend. Should be a good time. We got a lot of cool stuff coming next week. We have, actually, shit, now that I think about it, the new Apex season drops on Tuesday. So we still might do Paradise Killer, but if it's really cool, if things are wild, maybe we'll do Apex. Can you send me some luck for next week when I roll for a Bunny Girl ruler in FGO? Yep, Easter's right around the corner, so it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. If you undervolt your GPU, I'll send you luck. How's that sound? You follow these cool steps and then go from there. Iron, if you want to, I think everything's running smoothly on Destiny 2. So from what I gather, you have the new curve and it's not crashing yet. You can send me a screen cap of that voltage curve and I can just confirm that you have the voltages set. Then again, you're capable of seeing for yourself. So I trust that you kind of walked it in based on what we found on the Google search. So yeah, that's what we got, people. That's all we have. Fun little hour-long stream here. Some great stuff coming up. Some stuff I have in the background. Some things I want to keep a little close to the chest for a bit longer before I'm ready to reveal. But in the meantime, all y'all are going to be running your GPUs better than you ever have before. Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. I will be with you every step of the way if you have questions. But for the time being, you are all set. And in before my curve is back. Hey, send it over. Send it over. I'll review it when I'm upstairs. And then I'll spit out my drink. I'll be like, are you kidding me? And then I'll walk in. See if my room stays cooler now. Yeah, that's gonna be all the difference. All the difference right there. It's gonna be frigid. You have to put long pants on. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I have been your Kaiju Kenjra for the evening. I have been your GPU overclocker, your professor. I have destroyed your PC in wondrous fashion, and I look to do so again in the coming days. Everyone have a great weekend. I will talk to most of you over the course of the weekend through various means. So take care. See you all soon. Good night. And that is it.